Okay, so this is it. This is patch 9.7, patch notes review. Hopefully the audio's a little bit better this time round. Try to tweak some stuff. Sounds good to me, but it sounded good to me last time, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. Hopefully it's better this time, though. I know absolutely nothing about these patch notes, except there was something to do with ghost porros and zombie wards getting changed, but I'm not really sure on the specifics of that. And so, yeah, what do I want to see coming into these notes just before we go right into it? It's pretty simple, same as before. I want to see something changed with Vayne. Preferably, I just want Phantom Hit removed from Guinsoo's. It's a really cool idea, but frankly, it's just been problematic ever since it was initially conceived. You know, on the very first version, I even Sated Devour, but then every version of Guinsoo's has had it since then. It's been very, very hard to balance. So it either needs really heavy nerfs to that part of the passive of the Guinsoo's, or just to remove that effect entirely. I think a nerf to Vayne herself doesn't really fix the underlying problem, but I'd still like to see it. On top of that, there's just tons of broken champions. I think Riven's pretty strong, but maybe not. Maybe just slightly more nerfs to Conqueror. Urgot, I hear, has been dominating solo queue. I actually haven't had a lot of time to play on this patch, so I haven't seen it. Things like Jungle Urgot, haven't really seen it. So interested to see if anything changes with him in this patch. And then also, maybe, I don't know, ban Vlad if you want to jump on that bandwagon. Nerf Vlad, even. I think he's pretty decently strong. It's just one of those champions that, no matter how bad he's doing, as long as he can go late enough, he can 1v5. Just kind of annoying to play against. If I don't see change to him, I'm not that annoyed, though. Okay, so what we got? Kayle. A few more nerfs on Kayle, this looks like. Armor growth, health regen, down, Q cost increased. Yep, okay. A lot of nerfs to Kayle. She's coming out as insanely strong, as I understand it, although this is based solely off of a Reddit thread, so, she doesn't actually have any negative win rates, maybe negative lanes, but overall in games, she tends to have 50% or higher versus every single matchup, which is pretty rough. So maybe they're thinking that her early game isn't weak enough, or she's spiking too hard. Some people are doing this Blade build, which is a bit more attack speed. Some people are doing the sort of Triforce Corki-esque build, and I think that's what this tries to target here. Yeah, it's losing a lot of the damage on the E, but increasing the AP scaling. So things like the on-hit builds, or solely on-hit builds with Blade of the Rune King, and these Triforce Rapid Fire Cannon builds, they're going to be doing a little bit worse, because you're missing 4% health damage. That's quite a lot. The scaling 1% per 100 AP, yeah, it's okay. It's basically just going to get you back to where you were if you're building like enough AP during an on-hit build. So really, it's just forcing you to build a little bit more AP. Things like Nash's Tooth, Lichbane, starting to become a lot more necessary with this champion. And then the rest is just sort of mana cost. Again, just gimp her lane as much as possible. I don't think it's great. Her lane's already kind of rough. So should she be taking hits in the laning phase? No. But she is also losing out in sustainability throughout the game. Is that, again, the solution? Not sure. But I definitely like this area here, the Starfire Spellblade. The nerfs to the E here. Alright, Urgot, cool. Urgot, apparently pretty strong. So what are they doing? They're reversing some of the changes they made onto his passive. Oh no, the passive was reducing damage. This is just the straight up damage. Reducing damage in multiple hits was what they removed last patch. This is just each one individually does less damage. Probably a good thing, because, once you hit level 13, being able to proc 8% of someone's max health pretty much every second, or whatever it was, things 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds, something like that. That's quite a lot, Once you pop on the W, which is permanent, you just run circles around someone, they die pretty quickly. We're also seeing nerfs to the base of Fear Beyond Death, and I'm pretty certain they upped that last patch. Pretty recently they buffed that, so definitely looking to revert that change, which is fine. Urgot's ult in itself shouldn't really be doing damage. It's an execute tool. It doesn't need damage on top of that. It's not a lot, it's just 25. So I don't think it makes too much of a difference, but okay, fine. I like the idea behind it. And then, increase the early cooldown on E. Increases mana cost as well. As far as Jungle Urgot goes, I think I hear that's a thing. Mana cost doesn't really matter. I'm not sure. I would assume that he would go for Machete. So maybe if you get gimped out of your blue, it's going to matter a little bit. But just increase the cooldown. It's going to make you have a riskier early lane, because you're definitely not maxing E. In fact, I'm pretty sure you max E last. So you're going to have a lot rougher of the early game there. It's 2 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, but it definitely can be, especially if they've got an ability that comes up in that window that your disdain is still on cooldown. It's going to make a huge change. And that's actually just like the only big changes for this patch. Or at least they've decided to call big changes. Over here, we've got buffs to Azir. Cool. I think he's a really interesting champion. Very, very, very hard to balance, but pretty cool, pretty unique, fun to watch. And I always like to see him in pro play. So yeah, buffs to Azir. I'm cool with. He definitely needs help. Health regen growth is sort of his sustainability as the game goes on really his problem. Hard to say. And then just a slight tap buff on his Q. Sure. Okay, cool. If you're an Azir player, you're happy. Cho'Gath, another Cho'Gath buff. They really want Cho'Gath to be a champion. What are we doing? Just lower cooldown on Q. Great. Q is pretty much half of this champion. So cooldown, if you missed it, it's incredibly punishing. So lower the cooldown. Okay. That is pretty nice. I mean, tanks are already having a really bad time because I've just remembered that Aftershock is going to get nerfed on this patch, I think. So tanks are definitely not having fun on this patch. Anything you can do to buff them is going to be really nice. And speaking of which, we've got Mundo coming up next. Q damage increased, E attack damage increased. Okay, brilliant. I don't know why Riot love Mundo so much. I think he can be a really obnoxious champion at times, but there are just times every so often that Riot go, hey, we haven't buffed Mundo in a while. Let's buff Mundo. And they do stuff like this. What we're seeing 5% increase to the target's current health. Wow. Just across the board, actually. It's not even a late game. That's actually a disgusting amount. And then what we're seeing, 10 minimum, but 20 extra. So yeah, this is just... Mundo's E is already insane. 5% current health damage on the Q. This is actually crazy. This is in the wrong section. This should be up at the top. This should be in the major changes section. That's pretty big. Not a fan. Stop buffing Mundos. Disgusting champion. Okay. Garen changes. Alright. It's getting a bit more from his W. A bit more of the passive. Okay, cool. Okay, brilliant. Garen's W is just not an ability. It's got, was it like 20-second cooldown? Yeah, 20-second at max rank cooldown. The passive is honestly something that I feel like Riot would want to get rid of because it's just a bit interesting. It's kind of hidden, hidden resources. They really don't like that sort of stuff. It's not very obvious when you look at a Garen that he suddenly just has all these extra stats, but he needs to get his durability from somewhere. And that's why I like that they are... Oh, are they not? I thought they're saying they'll say... Oh, duration decreased. Okay, Garen is just not a champion late game. He's a decent enough lane bully, but once he gets later into the game, he's just not a champion at all. So does he really need nerfs to his W? Yeah, his W is not a fun ability because it's just very simple. Here's the damage you would take. Now it's less. I think that this is interesting, to say the least. I don't think it's enough that he needed, but then again, he is going to be significantly tankier, and he's also going to have a lot more uptime overall because he is going to have the extra cooldown there. All right, Leona, E cooldown, less. Great. Leona is a champion all about engage. When you're being gimped by the fact that you cannot engage because of cooldowns, that's not great. Her Q has a pretty decent cooldown, I think, right now, but the E has always felt like it's a little bit too long, so they're just trimming 3 seconds off it later on. So, again, it's the early stages of the game. I remember you're maxing E probably last. I'm not too sure. I think it was sort of you max W and then preference, really, on the Q or the E. Maybe that changes now, because you're definitely 3 seconds, max rank, that's a lot. And so it's nice. It doesn't really affect her lane too much, which I think she's... in terms of how she can engage, I think her lane is pretty fine. Like a 12-second early cooldown, that's decent. But just later on, if you miss it, it's not too bad. If you want to re-engage a fight, it's great. You want to sort of push further in a fight, you can do that now. So, cool. Lissandra, yep, just nerf the champion. Great. Just disgusting champion. And even, I think Lissandra's mostly OP just because of Aftershock, really. But, her wave clear is pretty decent. All right, I think she kind of already has to use her E to wave clear, which is very dangerous, but it is also a very long range ability, so it is what it is. And so they're just lowering the cooldown on her Q, increasing the cooldown on her Q. Does that make too much of a difference? It's just 1 second. Maybe, again, there are a few cases where that means someone else can get off a big wave clear ability before she can in that time, because it would take her, I think she needs to use 2 to clear a wave or something, and something else. If she has to use 3, I'm not 100%. If we say 2, it's it's going up from 6 seconds to 8. If it's 3, it goes up 3 seconds. But those are windows that someone else could have their wave clear come up during and successfully outshove the Lissandra, which is always a good thing, I think. Lissandra very strong when she gets to fights, so she shouldn't be able to just roam to every lane at the same time. It should be more quality over quantity, and right now she has a little bit of both. All right, Morgana, what we got here? So I had a little drink first. Alright, Morg. Apparently, nothing in mid lane, Morgana. I have not seen her mid lane in the slightest since her rework. But, again, I haven't had too much time to play on this patch, so what we're doing, we're just lowering ability power ratios, so completely untouched on support. Well, not completely, because obviously you're still burning AP, but definitely a small enough on support, but at the same time, you do not care about the W as a support. You're all about the black shields and about the roots, so you're okay with this, but she is losing a bit of sustainability. She already has a fair amount with her passive, but yeah, it's not nice. But yeah, champions may. Will I say she's near enough? No, but will I say she's annoying? Sure. I think this is one of those things where Riot look at the champions, and they've said about their philosophy is they look at champions across all levels of play, and if they're over certain amounts of just like raw stats wise, they can do very slight tweaks. And I think that's what this is. They've looked at her numbers and they're going, okay, her win rates compared against her play rates and her ban rates and whatnot across these elo brackets and these regions are just slightly too high, and it's not really a thing based off how a champion feels. It's just a numbers thing. So we're just going to make it a little bit riskier. Maybe. Okay. All right. Not really sure how I feel about that. Pyke. What are you doing? Oh, just giving Pyke more power. Cool. Pyke, fun champion to play, fun champion to watch. Two very important things, I think. And so they want to make him a little bit stronger. So what are we looking at? We're looking at lower cooldown on the Q. Great. Give him more opportunities to make plays early on. It's the same as rank 5. And increasing the stun duration on his E, which is good. His E doesn't really feel like too much of a stun. It's not that impactful. It's a gap close and you get a little disruption, but are you actually stunning someone? Not really. It's not too much of a buff, though. I would be interested to know. I don't know off the top of my head, but would this put someone in range of his Q? Because right now... No, actually, no, I think his... I'm not sure. I think his Q duration actually, like the charge up time, is about a second. So I think you can stun someone and then get a properly charged flinging Q. Now this is just going to be easier to do. Great. All right. Rumble buffs. Okay, again, it's a champion. I think he's in a fine spot. Maybe a little meta dependent, but he's definitely struggles versus some of the current champions that have played. But in a tank meta, he's having a great time. What they're doing, they're lowering the cooldown of the Equalizer. Good God. Ability is insanely impactful, so having it up 20 seconds earlier is a pretty big deal. And then, it's a little bit more move speed on the shield, just to help him maneuver around the lane. And there's some very mobile top laners in the meta right now, so that extra mobility, the extra speed, that's very nice for the Rumble, to be fair. Okay. Silas. Health regen down, W damage down, E cooldown up. Great. Silas still too strong. Definitely, needs to take some hits in some places. So he's losing a lot of health regen there. That is his base. And losing damage on W. W heal is probably still too much, but Riot seem to think that just knocking his health regen is going to be enough, which makes sense. You want his W to be a big impactful ability. So if the problem is that he's healing too much overall, you can change his health just by tweaking his regen, while still managing to keep that big impact on the Kingslayer there. But they're also lowering the damage, so I guess it needs to be more of a... It's starting to become more and more of this sort of defensive ability. It's not too much about the offensive capabilities there. Remember, these changes are amplified. Sorry, yeah, empowered damage there. So they've already accounted for that. So yeah, he's using 75 damage at max rank. That's quite a lot. Yeah, it's not 75 damage at all. Was that 55? Quick maths. 45? Yeah, 45. Okay. Yeah, still a decent amount. This is an ability you're using quite often. So losing these just little bits of damage here doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're using it very frequently in lane, it is going to add up. And then, yep, holy moly, okay. 6 seconds, level 1 on Abscond and Abduct. I'm not sure on the maxing order, but I think some people do like to max this last. That's pretty yikes. Definitely means it's a lot more important that you actually hit the Abduct part of that ability now, because you are not going to get a lot of chances. Did I think that the cooldown was a bit too low? Maybe. I think it needed a nerf. Sure. 6 seconds? Maybe not. All right. I was thinking maybe if you put it somewhere in give it 3 seconds extra, maybe. At least they haven't touched it late game, but wow, early, that is rough if you're a Silas player. All right. Jumpman Cinderhulk. Doesn't matter. Aftershock's dead. So tank junglers, not viable. They do not have a rune. Bring back Courage of the Colossus. It was fun. It was interactive, and it wasn't hidden resistances. It was a very clear-cut shield. It had a shorter cooldown. It was more easy to play with if you're a jungler. I have really fond memories of playing things like Zac and actively thinking, oh, my courage is up. I can proc it here and win this fight. This wasn't the old Zac where I actually had damage. Really good times doing that. You don't have that with Aftershock. With Aftershock going away, at least for tank junglers, any buff to Cinder Hulk doesn't matter. Well, then, okay, the buffing clear speed's cool, fine. Okay, nice if you're a one trick, but realistically in this meta, you're not going to be playing tank junglers. Dark Steel. Yep, this item definitely needs a nerf. It's OP. So what they're doing, lowering the AP. I would have liked them to shift maybe AP into the stacks mechanic just to reward you. 5 AP. Yeah, I mean it's a third of the AP the item gives, right? I feel like jungling, I'm probably still going to buy this if I'm playing like Evelyn, or if I'm playing Elise and I still have the 350 gold, I'm probably still going to buy it. Then I think the sellback value here, which is a big thing, it's 105 gold. One of the great things about Dark Steel is it's really efficient, and you sell it and it's only really cost you, it's only really cost you 105 gold. They're nothing by the amount that it would cost you to buy one and then sell one. But as it turns out, the sellback value on Measure Ice is about 300 gold or something. So there's not a lot of risk if you're even or ahead. You can just buy a Measure Ice. You die and you have 0 stacks and you don't think you're going to get it back up, just sell it. You get a blasting one, that's fine. It's not too bad, So lowering the sellback value of the Dark Seal itself, I'm not sure. But there are a lot of people that like to stack Dark Seals, especially double Dark Seal and a corrupting pot, and they are going to be hurt by this, and quite rightly. The ratio it was too good. Okay, updated Wit's End. Oh yeah, I heard about this one as well, and a lot of people were very upset about this. What are we doing? Attack speed and magic resistance cost increased. Okay, so it's... Oh, yeah, it was in a kind of... How much does it cost? Yeah, okay, 200. Yeah, 2,900. It was in a really awkward spot as an item because it was sort of a middle of the pack item. It was priced the same as support items and had the same efficiency, but then you're going up against people that have full items because you're on decent income. So, kind of rough. Yeah, when, say you're picking up a Wit's End and they're picking up... Was it Starks or something? I don't know. Something in that area. I don't know what items cost 2,900 gold. I know Sonya's does, but it's not really comparable. But yeah, definitely needed to be moved up a tier of item. What else? Grants movement speed. Okay, why? On hit damage, lower early, higher late. Okay, sure. No, I don't think it used to scale. I think it used to actually be base. And does not steal magic resist, but now heals. Okay, because yeah, sure. Champions didn't have enough healing right now. We're seeing a lot of ADCs that build Blade. We're seeing Conqueror giving just a lot of unnecessary heals right now. Do we really need more healing? It's just what I'm thinking. I don't know, that's really odd. I quite liked how it was as a magic resist shred item. It was really useful for your team. It was really great as steal. It was really nice if they had a lot of magic resist. Some people were building this, things like Yasuo's, Aurelia's, they were getting this item, probably the occasional Jax here and there. So, it's definitely. I mean, you're only gaining 10 magic resist and you're losing 30. So, not great. Attack speed going up, fine. I guess nice. The movement speed, I guess, is helpful to just help you run and chase people. Bearing in mind, if you have high attack speed, you're attacking more often, which means you're stopping more often. So the movement speed's pretty nice, right? Okay, sure, I can get behind that. Actually, now I think about it, and damage really drops early. But better late. So maybe you pit... Basically, this just makes your life hell. If you're a tank, and you're playing versus, I don't know, against something like a Jax or an Aurelia, you're already having a bad time because they have Conqueror. And now you're just useless because they're going to be out-healing you, pretty much, with this Wit's End. Say what's it going to be hitting? About 50 in the mid-levels. You're at like level 11, it's hitting you somewhere around 50. And they're healing 25 every single time they hit you. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're a tank and you're already not dishing out a lot of damage, and they have an incredibly high attack speed combined with Conqueror healing, that's kind of ridiculous. Of course, you've got Bramble Vest, right? Which is going to be the direct counter to this item, but I still think that it's just, kind of a bit sad. Is it? Okay, now filling the gap where one would consider more, but can't because of Sterox. True. Okay. I'm trying to think. Again... You could probably try this on Yasuo. I think you'd have a really good time. It's interesting. I don't know how I feel about it, but my gut response is negative. I think the old Wit's End, incredibly niche, kind of bad, but still, see, to be fair, it wasn't an item you bought every single game. It was maybe if you were playing one of the 3 champions that would build it, you'd get it in 10% of your games. But I think it's okay for there to be items like that. I like the fact that they moved it from this awkward spot to a better spot and just also increasing your base stats across the board to compensate for that. But it's just that this part is really what's getting me here. Okay. That's nice. If you're ever curious how much damage your Immolate has been doing, is that Cinderhawk Cinder and Sunfire Cave? Now you know. Fine. Okay. What are we got here? True. Eyeball Collection has been crowding out Ghost Pro and Zombie Ward. Well, personally, I think Zombie Ward's giga broken. But on certain things, playing Karthus, Evelyn, basically anyone with AP or Assassins, you absolutely had to run this. So now they all give the same amount of stats. That's very interesting. So, what is this? All 3 runes now grant the same adaptive force bonuses, so your choice is now how you want to stack those bonuses up rather than what kind of bonuses you want. So this one goes through killing, and you're going to get stacks. So I'm assuming, Zombie Ward gets stacks every time you kill a ward? Yes, okay. And so how does this one work? Just real quick, just take a second to look at the stacks, actually how they work, right? Or how much AP you're going to get. Total stats unchanged. Yeah, I'm done. Okay, total stats unchanged. This is every time you place a Ghost Poro, or no, you actually just don't get Ghost Poros anymore. Okay, so it's the first half of Zombie Ward which got removed. So whenever you place a ward when it despawns, it's just when they expire. So I assume that doesn't count when they get killed. You will get a Ghost Poro. Yep. Well, I'm very interested to know, can you just instantly stack this by just, like, if you're playing support or something, or if you just buy 10 pinks, do you just instantly get this? Do they have to time that of their own accord, or if you replace them, do you still get it? Because either way, I think that's going to feel rough. Well, to be fair, the only people that are replacing their standard wards are going to be supports. If supports taking this rune, probably not. And if this is a really big issue for them, they do just have the choice to run Zombie Ward. Obviously, they're going Sweeper. They're clearing a lot of wards anyway. At the same time, I still think it could be kind of rough for people that do want to try that out, especially the pink wards thing, right? Well, actually, yeah. Well, pink wards just don't expire, so not sure how that one's going to work either. And then do you still get your Zombie Ward here? Yeah, this one still gives you a Ghost Poro. I'm assuming this one still gives you a Zombie Ward, which is great. That's really what I care about. Damaging champion. Yeah, okay. You lose the extra damage thing. It's fine because you're getting bonus adaptive damage. And yeah, it looks like you still get to keep your Zombie Wards. This is great. I think Zombie Ward, just the premise of the item is insane because it's of the rune. Because not only are they losing vision, but you're now gaining vision in an area that clearly is going to be important. Because if they're warding it, that means they lack information there, right? They want to know what's going on in that area. So you're taking that away from them, and now you're gaining it. It's just it's twice as effective, You are now gaining information in an area that they want the information, whilst also removing their own. So I think Zombie Ward is definitely the strongest of these. At least if you're taking a sweeper and buying a lot of pinks, I'm the kind of guy I leave a base with 2 pinks every game and get a sweeper after like my second back or something like that. If you're a laner, maybe I guess if you're playing something like ADC. You probably go Ghost Poro. It depends how slow your lane is, really. If you're playing like mid and you're planning on roaming a lot, or you're playing like a heavy kill lane top, you probably just go Eyeball Collection. And if you're playing ADC or like a slower lane, a slower AD, something like Vayne, you don't think you're going to get a lot of kills, you just play the waiting game and you go Ghost Poro. Because that's the thing. These two, Zombie Ward and Eyeball Collection, you're not actually guaranteed to get. Yeah, I mean, you will eventually, basically. But you're not going to get them after 1 second. Good to know that was an important message from my housemate. Let me know I suck. I forgot to put my on-air sign up. My apologies. Okay, so... Fuck, what was I saying? Oh yeah, ADCs. You're taking a Ghost Pro or something like that because it's guaranteed. You have control over when you're placing wards. So you place the wards, which means they will eventually expire. That can't be taken away from you. You can be denied kills and assists by getting outplayed. you're not always going to be in a position where you can clear wards. Cut down, just another buff, right? Just really, really want to buff this rune. I'm sure eventually it will see play. Is that going to be on this patch? Not sure. Again, there's just not extremely high health targets in this game. No one's playing tanks, and no one's taking it. I don't know. I feel like the whole of that bottom tree, coup de grace, cut down, and last stand, are all just, you just don't feel them. It's really rough. I think the whole branch should be reworked, because you just don't know you have it. Like, I take Triumph coup de grace on most junglers still, unless I want to run, Legend Elasticity or something like that, Presence of Mind. But you don't really know that you've got it. They want runes to be fun and powerful. Things like Demolish. I think Demolish is my favorite rune in the game. At least not minor rune. Favorite non-keystone rune, right? Because you know about it, you feel it. It's very big. It's very impactful. It's something you actively play around without being too OP. Ever since it got its buffs, maybe it's a little too strong. But and it's actually getting buffed. Wow, right? Wow, was it? Oh, I look bad. It was bad compared to almost all other minor runes. Okay, it's getting buffed. I thought the placing was fine, but again, that is in the meta when everyone was playing Scion, right? In this meta, maybe not so much. But I think Demolish is by far and away my favorite in terms of design, and just like, it's very fun to proc as well. It's very satisfying. It's not something like bone placing. It's you walk up, you take damage. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I took less damage that time. Great. You can play around it obviously when you're going for your trades. You go, oh, I have bone placing up, but it's like, oh, I have this up. I guess I can take some damage or something like that, Whereas Demolish, it's a very conscious decision. It's like, okay, I've got Demolish. I can stick around for this extra play. I don't know. I just really like that rune. Okay. What else we got? Overgrowth. Just a nice buff. Sure, it's kind of negligible, the rune right now. You take it, but you don't really feel it. So, yeah, buff it. Fine. Oh! Yes! Preach! Oh my god, okay. The burn effect of Hunter's Talisman and its upgrades no longer interrupt Predator's channel. This is the best thing in these notes. That was the most annoying shit in the game. When you're doing Crab, you're playing Skarner or Hecarim, your bot lane is getting ganked, you go, don't worry guys, I'm coming in for the 2v2. You pop your Predator, and it instantly turns off because of the burn on the Scuttle Crab. It felt terrible. Your bot lane would immediately die. You're probably going to get called a bit of jungle difference in the chat. To be honest, it's slightly true. It felt really bad to be punished for clearing your jungle. This is absolutely insane. I cannot stress enough how much I love this change. Ultimate Hunter, buffed. Nice. 20% CDR, okay, sure. I'm probably still not going to run it. I think Ravenous Hunter is giga broken. The only case I don't run Ravenous Hunter is if I'm running Ingenious Hunter. Maybe I'll try it on Evelyn. I'd like Presence of Mind on Evelyn. I think that's really fun. And so maybe I'll start trying this one out a little bit. But to be fair, the move speed is also huge because of her stealth and shit. You need to make sure that you're staying out of range of stuff. So I'm probably not going to run it. It's basically, this is Karthus buff. He's the only champion that runs this, I think. Ravenous Hunter's 2 OP. No idea why this isn't in any way useful, but I'm sure someone will figure it out. This one is great. Being able to stack your tier, just nice. This is just changes the practice tool. Neat. There's still a few things that practice tool needs, but this is a very nice step. Oh, Butcher's Bridge is back. Cool. I'm not going to play on it, but it was fun. I liked it. I'm going to ignore all of this because who cares about ARAM? Although Butcher's Bridge was nice. I did like that map. Maybe I'll play it just for the sake of it. Map client, who cares? Apparently that thing is terrible. So hopefully that is a fix to some of the issues it has. And then your shop. Okay, cool. Bug fixes, just to really quickly go. Is there anything really important in here? This one really annoyed me. I thought that was a feature. It was awful. He just shouted Demacia when you broke the wall. It just sucked so much. You just jump in, just go Demacia, and it's like, okay, great. What else we got? Okay, cool. Things fixed. Not sure about that. That's a very oddly specific thing. Talia was disabled on patch 9.6 in competitive, at least in the LEC. I'm going to assume that had something to do with it. And that's already... okay, interesting. At least, so they fixed it for some pets, but literally the only champion that's going to run Conqueror that has a pet. is apparently still bugged. Didn't know it was bugged in the first place, but okay. Dunk Master Ivan comes out. Neat. Alright, so overall, patch in general, what are my thoughts? Massive. Very happy. Very happy. I think there's just a lot of very small changes. Really interested to see how this one works. Basically, I felt pretty bad running Zombie Ward because I wasn't running Eyeball Collection, and I like that they've buffed Zombie Wars to compensate for that. So I'm really happy about that one. That one I'm actually just kind of happy about if I was ever going to play Cinderhawk Champion just because it's fun. This thing's weird. Not sure. Good. Who cares? Oh, wait, hang on. So they didn't actually nerf Aftershock in this patch? Right, why? Riot. Please. Just kill that fucking rune. Okay. I guess I got to fucking go back. Now that the Aftershock is still a thing, this is nice. It's nice for Sejuani. Very nice for Tank Jarvan, actually, who still sees play. You'll be happy with this one. Okay, actually, yeah. Would I still play tank junglers? Probably. I probably would. Keep an eye on things like Nunu, Sejuani, Zac. See how they're doing. Maybe I'll start playing them a little bit more. Okay, this is actually really nice. But tanks still, in top lane at least, are going to get pranked because of this. Which means Lissandra still Giga broken, and everyone else that can abuse Aftershock, like Silas, cough. Nice time to be a Leona player, I guess. Damn, they didn't nerf Aftershock. I heard that they were absolutely gussing the base values and then putting loads of scaling into it that nobody wanted because you were never going to hit that point as a support, and as a top laner you would take Grasp anyway, and as a jungler you need the base. So now I'm not sure what. But yeah. Very nice, lots of small changes. Mundo's Giga broken as well. Syntox nice. Witten's probably a busted item. I'm going to have some fun times running Zombie Ward. Bless Riot, best patch I've ever seen in my life, to be honest. But okay. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. That's just a little bit of my thoughts. Sorry for the interruption in the middle. God damn it, Desi. God damn housemates. Yeah. Let me know, again, a bit more feedback. Hopefully the audio's fixed. But yeah, if you liked it, didn't like it, let me know about that. Yeah. See where you're at.